So I only ever got to go on one spring break trip. It was when I was in law school. I got to go to Europe with my then boyfriend. And we went to Frankfurt, Stuttgart, and Geneva. Now, we were supposed to go to Munich, but it turned out that week it was ridiculously cold in Europe. They had had a cold snap that they hadn't had in 40 years in Europe, and we were tired of freezing. So, huddled over coffee and the International Herald Tribune, it turned out that Rome was 15 degrees warmer. So instead of Munich, Rome it was, and we went off to Rome. Now, Rome, I gotta tell you, I don't know if you've ever been there. Rome is a noisy, dirty city. And the thing to put this in perspective for you, I'm from New York. So think about that. I thought Rome was noisy and dirty. But it's also fabulous. I mean, there's all this history in Rome. There's Roman ruins, there's Baroque architecture, there's fascist architecture, there's 19th century opera houses, and then there's the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is everywhere in Rome. Not just in St. Peter's Basilica or in the 18 other basilicas in Rome. The Catholic Church is everywhere. Now, maybe this is because I'm Jewish, and my boyfriend at the time was Jewish, and perhaps we were just a little sensitive to the idea of having our people and our culture wiped out by other people. But everywhere you turn in Rome, there is some sort of Roman ruin with a church having been built over it, or some Roman artifact with a pope's name having been slapped over it. So perhaps I was a little tired of this, but I don't know, that the question of the history and the historiography of this city, I don't know, I got a little tired of it. But still, in that situation, it may surprise you that our last day in Rome, we chose to go to the Vatican. But if you think about it, if there's one place in Rome where it is totally cool and understandable for it to be incredibly Catholic, the Vatican would be it. So we got to the Vatican, and the Vatican really is a fascinating, fascinating place. You know, it's full of history, it's kind of like a museum, and it's a tourist attraction, and it's a working house of worship, all at the same time. I mean, it was amazing to me how many people showed up and got turned away from the steps of St. Peter's because they were inappropriately dressed. Now, Jewish or not, I mean, we knew to dress up a little bit. I mean, we were on spring break. We didn't have a ton of nice clothes, but I was in a nice pair of jeans and a cute little sweater set, and I had this little string of malachite pearls that I'd had for years, and I just loved them, and we looked very, you know, very presentable. So this was our last day in Rome, so we only had a certain amount of time to do the tour of the Vatican. So we did the short 2-hour self-guided tour, or as I like to call it, Catholicism's greatest hits. So we're going through things, and we go to the Sistine Chapel, and there was this sign on the Sistine Chapel that says, "Please don't lay down on the floor." Now, quite frankly, until that moment, it wouldn't have occurred to me to lay down on the floor of the Sistine Chapel. I mean, I'm short enough as it is, I could still see the ceiling standing up. But it's apparently because it's a working chapel, they really don't want you laying down on the floor. So we finished the tour, and like the tour of any good museum, where did we end up? At the gift shop. So there's a gift shop outside. It's a little outbuilding, and in front of the gift shop, there's an easel with a poster on it. And the poster has a painting, a drawing, a photograph, depending on the era, of all of the popes. I don't know, it just struck me. This poster of all the popes. I couldn't help it. I kept thinking of baseball cards. So then I started thinking, and I started saying out loud in the Vatican, So if you had Pope cards, what stats did you put on a Pope card? I don't know, saints beatified, marriages annulled, encyclicals issued. Now, Chris at this point, he's only egging me on. And he challenges me and he says, all right, well, what if you got a rookie Pope? Rookie Pope doesn't have those stats. So I said, oh, well, of course, you got to figure out what his stats were as cardinal first. You know, it's kind of like the minor leagues. And then you could also do things like how many votes it took for him in the College of Cardinals to actually get elected Pope, you know. And as I am riffing on the rookie Pope, the necklace of malachite pearls falls off my neck. Falls off. I look down, there are little gray pearls just scattering on the pavement. I look down, I look at Chris, I look down. I look at Chris and I say, I don't know about you, but I'm mighty glad I'm not Catholic right about now. And Chris considers this, and he looks at me and he says, even so. Now, I don't know. I wasn't meant to go to Rome. That was not in the plan. So I don't know if it was some sort of divine providence that took me to Rome, and that took me to the Vatican that day, and that took the string of pearls off my neck. But I will tell you the lesson that I learned was, do not make Pope jokes in the Pope's house. Thank you.